My homegirl Izzy is a bikini barista in California, and if you don't know what a bikini barista is, it's basically like a Starbucks, but the baristas who make your coffee are in bikinis, like triangle bikinis and thongs. For the past few weeks, Izzy has been calling me and telling me that one of her regulars named Larry comes every single day and buys a hot cup of coffee from her. Mind you, it's hot as fucking California, but he buys a hot cup of coffee from her. The shit comes up to like $7, and he always leaves her a $50 to $100 tip. And every time Larry comes through, this bitch is calling me like, yo, guess who just came through? My sugar daddy Larry. However, we all know how predatory and disgusting men can get, especially when you are basically naked at your job. So I'm always telling her, Izzy, you gotta be careful. Like, this dude coming to your job every single day, like, I'm glad you're making so much money from him, but he's coming to your job every single day. You don't find that suspicious? You don't think he's like developing a weird obsession with you? Now, my homegirl Izzy is hard-headed as fuck. I've known her since high school, and we both hard-headed as fuck. If she had never moved to California, our friendship would have not lasted this long. Not to toot my own horn here, but I'm almost always right. I almost always hit the nail on the head. So when I be telling Izzy, be careful with this dude Larry, because you don't know what his intentions are for real. Like, he's giving you $50 to $100 every single day, but you don't know what's going on up here. He's a man at the end of the day. Mind you, this dude Larry is well into his 40s. Izzy is 27. She is my age. So about a week and a half ago, Izzy called me saying that she saw Larry at her gym. She didn't think anything weird of it because a lot of people go to her gym. But bitch, I immediately peeped that was a red flag. Then she gonna call me saying, oh, guess who I saw at the supermarket? Let me guess, bitch. Larry. Only was she now seeing him at her gym at the supermarket, but he just so happened to also be pumping gas at the same time she was pumping gas at the same gas station in LA. Bitch, are you cool? I'm telling Izzy, bro, like, he's stalking you. Like, I hope you know that. I hope you know these are not just weird coincidences. This man is stalking you. Like, what I told you would happen a few months ago is starting to happen. Anyway, bitch, just a few days ago, Izzy called me and told me that she saw him park like very, very far away in the parking lot of the job that she works at. And he never came and got his coffee. He never came through the drive-thru. He just parked like really far away, like in the cut. And she felt like he was watching her. So while she's on the phone with me, I'm like, I don't know what you want me to do from like 2,000 miles away, but you need to call the police. You need to call somebody. You need to tell management. You need to tell them what's going on. I'm the type of bitch that will tell you I told you so, but only when it's appropriate. Like right now, we're going through a situation. It's not appropriate for me to tell you, bitch, I fucking told you so. When I told her that maybe she should consider just quitting, she said no, the money is really good here and she got a good thing going on. It's just Larry is creeping her out. I said, baby, he's not gonna stop. And I told you this from the get-go. Like months ago, I told you this was gonna happen. You think a man is paying you hundreds upon hundreds of dollars a week for just to see your pretty face? He's a man. He's gonna want something in return. But boom, as of yesterday, her team at work put her on a temporary leave. But she doesn't want to comply with the temporary leave because she wants to make money. Like, I get it. You make good tips being a bikini barista. I love that for you. But your safety is at stake here. And she does not want to comply with the temporary leave that they put her on. So I'm sitting here talking to her. I'm like, there are other options if you don't want to look for a job right away. There are things that I was doing when I got fired from my job. You could always do DoorDash. You could always do Uber Eats or Uber itself if you feel comfortable enough to have people in your car. I personally am not comfortable enough to have strangers riding around in my car, but Uber is very popular in Los Angeles because when I visited Los Angeles for the first time a few months ago, I spent like $400 on Ubers in 1 week. I also told her I've been doing the Pay Me app, which basically you just file for class action lawsuits and you get paid for that shit. There are so many people that don't know that companies that they use on the daily have class action lawsuits out and they could be getting a piece of the pie. They don't know that shit, so all that money just kind of sits there unclaimed. You could literally be doing anything to hold yourself over until your temporary leave is done, basically. So this morning I called her on the phone. I'm like, Izzy, what are you gonna do? Are you going back to work or are you going to obey your fucking job and take a few days off? She said, no, I'm gonna take matters into my own hands. I said, Izzy, what the fuck does that mean? Do I even want to know what the fuck that means? Should you be telling me on the phone? Like, should I go outside and find a payphone? Let me know. So basically she was like, nah, girl, I'm just gonna start following Larry around. I'm gonna follow him around. I'm gonna show up to his house. I'm gonna park outside his crib. I'm gonna park outside his job. I'm gonna work out when he's working out. I'm gonna go to the grocery store when he's at the grocery store. And I'm gonna do everything he's doing to me. I'm gonna do it to him so he gets a taste of his own medicine. I'm like, bitch, are you insane? Are you crazy? You don't know how these psychos' minds work. That sounds enticing as fuck to a person like Larry. You cannot do that. You cannot think that, oh, I'm going to switcheroo, reverse the roles, and he's going to be creeped out and leave me alone. No, ma'am. That's basically an invitation to continue to be weird. You don't know how these psychos and these predators, they think. You doing that shit, following him around, that's just gonna excite him. He's gonna think like, oh yeah, she wants me for real. And he might just follow you home if he hasn't already and do some crazy shit. Now, luckily, Izzy has a roommate. She lives with 2 other girls, so she's not hardly ever alone. But at the end of the day, you got a crazy ass dude that's following you around that has already seen you in a bikini versus 3 other girls. Either y'all start taking up Taekwondo immediately, or I suggest you just listen to me, since you didn't listen to me the first time, bitch, and get the authorities involved. I don't know. Am I bugging, or should she get the fucking authorities involved? Because, like, she doesn't want to do that. And I can't wait to tell that bitch, I fucking told you so. She was supposed to call me later, so I'll give y'all an update about what's going on with Izzy. As soon as she calls me, I'm about to update.